Hey everybody, Wes Hagen. I'm going to try something new today. I've got the iPhone out and I'm going to do a little walking video so you can see a little bit more of the vineyard and not just my stupid face. So today we're going to talk about flowering and the hermaphroditic nature of Pinot Noir. And you're basically going to see some really cool stuff. So what you see here is a developing canopy, which is developing extremely quickly this year. And this is, of course, about Monday, May 20th. You can see basically a few things. These vines are still in a vegetative growth cycle and they still have great water status. We're watering about every other week to give these vines water. We didn't have much water during the rainy season, only about 5.5 inches this year. You can see these tendrils are extended past the growing tip, so we see that the vine is still in a strong vegetative cycle. It's reaching out, trying to grow up higher on the tree, higher on the trellis. Tree would be the natural environment. The trellis, of course, is the artificial environment that we've provided for this vine. You can see that's a healthy sign, little ladybug flying away. So you can see these tendrils are grabbing on, giving the vine support so as it grows up higher. And as I mentioned, we are smack dab in the middle of flowering. So you can see these little flowers. You can actually see some of these little brown parts right here. Those are the caps falling off the grapes. So the grapes that kind of look like pumpkins have not yet shed their caps. And as the caps fall out, 5 tiny little flowers surround the female part of the berry, which is sort of the ovary, and the 5 little flowers that surround it are basically going to be pollinating it. So you're looking at a hermaphroditic fruiting unit that has both male and female parts, so it doesn't have to get dressed up or go clubbing or anything. It can just stay at home and pollinate itself very effectively. The next thing we're going to be doing is tucking these shoots up into these wires as gently and carefully as we can, and then we're going to be removing some of these larger leaves away from the fruit to expose the fruit to light. And if you're going to remember really one thing about viticulture, the key to viticulture is to open up the fruit zone to sunlight and wind to keep the mildew pressure down, but also to put as much sunlight on the fruit as possible without burning it, because that's going to take away all the vegetative and vegetal aromas like green bell pepper and canned asparagus, canned peas, all those kind of flavors we don't want in a wine, and encourage the flavors that we do want, the high-toned red and black berry fruits in red wine, and a little bit more of the floral aroma in white wine. And speaking of floral aroma, it's a nice warm day here in the Santa Rita Hills today, about 70 degrees right now at about 11 o'clock, and you can really smell the strong orange blossom jasmine character coming off these beautiful flowering clusters. So we don't want too much wind. We hope the wind stays mellow in the next few days so it doesn't blow all the pollen away. But in general, these vines are used to wind. One reason why we don't do all the leaf pulling before flowering is we want to make sure that there's actually a little bit of windbreak from these leaves to protect these suckers during their flowering. This is a lateral shoot. Lateral shoots are kind of a waste of our time because they're going to start growing and not producing any fruit. So we're going to pull the laterals to open up the canopy a little bit more. And then if you look at this little cluster right here, I'm hoping this is all going to be showing, you can see that some of these berries have already they've already pollinated and they're beginning to grow and getting a little bit larger. And then within the next month or so, they'll get larger and larger, and eventually the bunches will, the grapes will close, the bunches will close, called bunch closure, and that'll just be the berries start touching each other. But until then, we've got at least a month and a half, and then probably I'm expecting early to mid-August, these grapes will start changing color, which means the seed is viable and the birds are coming, so we'll have to net these vines. So this is kind of a current status update. It's a beautiful day, expecting some wonderful sun, but we can feel sort of that way is the ocean. That way is inland where it's hot, so it's going to be 90 degrees out there. It's going to be 70 degrees out there. Right here in the middle will be mid-70s, and you can literally feel the ocean that way and summer that way, and they're fighting right over our head. I can feel the cool breeze coming off the Santa Rita Hills. Those are the Santa Rita Hills. Way off in the distance, you can see the Santa Rosa Hills, and then you can see the Purisima Hills behind us. So that kind of gives you sort of an idea of where we are, what we're doing. These vines, generally you don't want grape leaves that are bigger than your hand or that are super shiny green. This sort of dusty green color is perfect. Shows that we have a really nice nutrient balance. You can see some of the leaves at the top still haven't had enough time to get sort of some potassium, so we're seeing some false potassium deficiency, that kind of milky yellow color. But down where the fan leaves are developing, the larger leaves, these leaves are really representative of just perfect balance in what's happening in the vineyard. So once we get 12 to 15 leaves per cluster, these shoots will stop growing. We'll tuck everything in, do some leaf pulling, and then it's kind of just a waiting game. Keep applying some fungicide to make sure we don't get any rot or mildew. And that's about it. One thing you can also look at a grapevine, this will be the last thing I'll tell you, is you can look at the angle of the leaf blade to the petiole, and you can see that it should be about 90 degrees, somewhere between 75 and 90 degrees. It's kind of warm and windy today, so I'm seeing a tiny little bit of water stress here. Not much, but you can see the angle of the leaf blade to the petiole is just a little acute. It's more like 70-75% instead of 90%. And that gives me the indication that I'll probably apply a little bit of water this week to make sure these vines have plenty of water to continue growing, to continue to be viable, and eventually to continue producing sugar and flavor in the grapes. You can see some of the leaves probably have a closer to 90-degree angle between the leaf blade and the petiole. So I'm not really too worried. And you can see a little bit of marginal brown on that leaf, and you think, is that a disease? What's going on? You can also see the leaf is misshapen. I used to worry about this and take it to people until finally Jeff Newton told me it's actually the wind knocking it against the trellis. So that's actually how that leaf got misshapen with a little bit of brown. You can see a little bit here. So we pay attention to this stuff, make sure we know what we're doing. And we're going to start pulling laterals, pulling some leaves, getting these vines ready to go so we can make some wine. That's about it. Hope you guys had fun. Talk to you soon. Bye.